Are humans naturally good or fundamentally bad? Look at history filled with wars, greed, and cruelty. But yet there's also kindness and compassion, like people coming together to rebuild after disasters. In this video, we'll explore this debate through two influential thinkers, Thomas Hobbes and John Locke. Is morality something we're born with, or is it shaped by society? How then should people and society be governed? Let's start with Thomas Hobbes. Hobbes was a 17th century English philosopher, and let's just say he did not have an optimistic view of human nature. He lived in a time of intense political turmoil during the English Civil War. He saw chaos and violence firsthand and came to a grim conclusion that without a strong central authority, people would be driven by fear, self-interest, and survival. He imagined a world without laws he called a state of nature, where everyone is constantly fighting for power, no security, no cooperation, just a brutal struggle to stay alive. That's why he famously said, "The condition of man is a condition of war of everyone against everyone. Life in the state of nature is solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short." To avoid that, Hobbes believed people had to trade some freedoms for order, basically handing over power to a strong ruler to keep society from tearing itself apart. He chose the biblical sea monster Leviathan as a metaphor for the ideal ruler because it symbolizes power, control, and order. Fierce and unstoppable, just like the authority Hobbes believed was necessary to keep society from falling into chaos. Now contrast that with John Locke, another 17th century English philosopher, but with a completely different take. He lived during a time when the King of England was tyrannical. In his writing, The Two Treatises of Government, Locke argued that people are reasonable, capable of cooperation, and inclined to respect each other's rights. He famously said there is a law of nature which obliges everyone and teaches all mankind that being all equal and independent, no one ought to harm another in his life, health, liberty, or possessions. Therefore, Locke believed humans are naturally rational and peaceful, guided by reason to respect each other's rights. Unlike Hobbes, Locke didn't think people naturally crave power over others. It is governments, and not individuals, that become corrupt. And if a government turns tyrannical, people have the right to overthrow it. That's why Locke favored limited government and democracy, the exact opposite of Hobbes, who believed only a strong ruler could keep society from falling apart. Even though Hobbes and Locke lived in the 17th century, their debate over whether humans are naturally good or bad is still super relevant today in the modern world. Look at authoritarian regimes like China. Leaders there maintain tight control to prevent social unrest and keep stability. It's all about strong, centralized power to avoid chaos, just like Hobbes said. On the flip side, in democratic societies like many Western countries, Locke's influence is clear. Governments are formed by the people. Citizens have the power to challenge the government through elections, protests, and legal action. So what do you think? Are humans naturally good like Locke believed, or are we inherently chaotic by as Hobbes described? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you like or learned something from this video, please consider hitting the subscribe button to support this channel.